Every alarm in ignition is going to have certain information associated with it as it moves throughout the system. This information is provided by ignition, and there's things like the active time, the clear time, the time it was acknowledged, who acknowledged it, the priority, the display path, and a lot more. It's actually possible for you to extend that list of properties, called associated data, that gets stored with the alarm as it moves throughout the system. So we can configure these associated data properties on any of the alarms we've configured already. I'm going to go to my Routable Integer 1 tag, I'm going to go into the alarming area, and select the alarm that I've already configured. So for every alarm configuration, you can add associated data. So on the right-hand side, right above all the properties, there's a plus icon. The plus icon allows you to add associated data properties. So as soon as you do that, at the very bottom, you'll see a new property get added. So I can double-click in here to change a name. I'm going to call this one static. On the right-hand side, I can set up the value. The value can either be static or it can be dynamic. If it's dynamic, you're going to link it to a tag or to an expression. Regardless of the type, the information is going to get snapshotted with the alarm when it goes active, and it's going to be stored with it as it moves throughout the system. That way, if we go back in time and look at history, we'll see what these values of these properties were. I'm going to set this static one to a value of group A. I'm going to go add another property at the very top. I'm going to set the second one, double-click to change the name. I'm going to set it to ramp0, and I'm going to bind this property to a tag. I'm going to select the ramp0 tag. So make sure, no matter, after you're changing the names or changing the values, that you press enter there so that that value information is saved on that property. So now you can see I've added two associated data properties on my alarm, static and ramp0. When the alarm becomes active, I'm going to take the value of these two properties and snapshot it. So if it's linked to a tag or to expression, that tag value will come through or the expression will come through, and we'll get that stored with the alarm. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now that I have that there, I'm going to go and make my alarm be active. I'm going to set the to value of 2 in this case. I have a little alarm status table on the right hand side. If I click on my alarm, my machine A alarm, and look at the status, the magnifying glass in the bottom right, and scroll down, I will see all the properties that Ignition provides, and at the very bottom I will see the properties that we provided. So here's our static, which is group A, and if I keep going down to the bottom, I'll see my ramp0, and there's the value of the ramp0 at the time this thing went active. So if I was looking back in history, I can see what the values of these associated data is there for. We can use the associated data for filtering as well as just to see information associated with the alarm at that time.